Okay, we are live.
What's going on, everyone? It's Adam and Craig with Grandstand Golf. In this show, we're doing our round 4 DFS Showdown targets for the 2021 Waste Management Phoenix Open. Craig, today was an incredible day of golf, incredible day for golf Twitter. Let's talk Jordan, man. Everyone's crowning Jordan is back.
Yeah.
61 in round 3, 10 birdies, most ever in a single round. What's your
So
takeaway?
just real quick before we jump in too deep into it. If you're watching this after the fact and you want to just skip ahead to the picks, the showdown picks, we'll put a timestamp below so you can skip right to it because I think we will chat a bit more before we get into the picks today. So just an FYI, I know not everyone wants to hear us chat about it, but yeah, I mean Jordan Spieth. You can feel how much electricity he brings. I mean, you know, we're talking a small crowd. If there would have been the full crowd, this would have been absolutely bonkers. But you can just feel how much the golf world wants Jordan Spieth to be back to being who he was, you know, in 2015, 16. The thing that I worry, and I think the data you have here is that it might be a little bit of smoke and mirrors, so we might need to enjoy this while it's happening.
It was super entertaining. I was poking you because we have an ongoing Jordan Spieth versus Sergio Garcia Masters straight up, so we'll get
it was supposed to be last year when, you know, I think it came up because I was pumping Sergio and you were like, man, like he's garbage, and I was like, well, we'll see come Augusta, and unfortunately Sergio couldn't play. I don't remember, was it COVID
I think so.
Yeah.
10 birdies in the round, most ever for him, single round record. He had a 68-foot chip in on 10, 36-foot putt on 16 in that kind of changed bird's nest there, and 29-foot putt on 17 where he was way off. He lost his drive. For the tournament, he's 43% driving accuracy, 123rd in the field, but first in strokes gained approach at 6.9.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it just felt like it didn't really matter where he was hitting it. Like so wife was working, so I had to keep track of puppy and go outside at points and come back in. And so like sometimes I would miss a shot and then I'd come back and I'd be like, he's in the friggin' desert again. And he's like still going further and further below par. Like I don't understand how this is happening. But yeah, it just felt like, you know, there was another shot on, you know, you talked about the kind of rub of the green of those ones going in. What was the shot I'm thinking of? It was, I don't remember if it was a par. It was one of the ones out of the desert. I think it was a par 4 because it hit above a bunker, and it was literally like the difference between it. Look, they didn't have a good angle of where exactly it hit, but it was like 6 inches from that thing plugging into the top lip.
Yeah, and that's Steven says in the chat here, he wasn't even the top 3 in strokes gained putting. His back 9 with the chip in and the 2 long putts was amazing, but like every other birdie was like 5, 6, 7 feet. Like he was sticking it right close. So a little bit of this course clearly sets up for the second shot accuracy, greens and regulation, strokes gained approach type players. So you don't
have to be good off the tee to be good on this course. It helps obviously, but like look at Rory. Rory's been great off the tee this week. And because he hasn't been as good putting and as good on approach, it hasn't translated into scoring.
So let's take off our golf fan cap here for a second and talk DFS Showdown for Jordan, round 4. Are you playing him? How many, if you're playing multiple lineups, how much are you playing him? What do you think?
I was going to say, I'm going to put in a lot of lineups. I will put in very, very few with Spieth. And just not because I don't think there's chances that he goes out and wins. It's more just I think his ownership will be crazy. He's 7,600, I think.
7,600. Yeah.
His ownership's going to be north of 40%. It's going to be Is it going to be 50%? Like there's going to be so many people that just plug in Jordan Spieth and Xander and then look to fill out the rest of their lineup.
I completely agree.
But I'll still plug them in. I do somewhere between 8. I don't do a full 20 just because it takes so much time to figure out what you want to do with the lineups. But I'll have him in a lineup or maybe 2.
I think I've reserved 3. I think I'm going to play 3. I think I'll get him in in one, but I'll mix it up somehow so it's not, just a Xander, Jordan, whoever else.
Well, and that's the thing is, if you do play him, you got to be contrarian elsewhere.
Yeah. Okay. So Jordan, amazing story, but there's so much going into this final day. So we have 54 hole leads by Jordan and Xander. Their record. This is from Justin Ray on Twitter. I believe he runs 15th Club.
He's a great stat guy. He's always just posting random little gems. So if you're on Twitter, he's a good follow.
Good follow. Xander 0 for 3. Jordan 9 for 16. Great record. They both co-led at the 2018 Open Championship. Carnoustie. Looking back, I mean, I know Jordan's this young phenom, and
now one of the interesting things about that though, because Data Golf also had a tweet, and it was talking about Jordan Spieth and how he actually has a fairly high luck rating, and that essentially what that takes into account is his performance. And then also like the performance of all the people around him. So, you think about Finau.
Right.
Finau, I think, has one of their worst luck ratings where like he's actually played well when he's been in these positions, but then other people go crazy. Whereas Spieth has been one of these guys that, for whatever reason, other people have fallen off when he's been playing well.
Yeah. So 2018 championship, I mean, Jordan was a phenom. Xander was 24 as well. So I think we can kind of give him a break on that. I think Xander is a different guy altogether. I think he's going to have kind of...
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be...
Xander's the favorite for sure. Xander's the guy who, many people would say I don't think this is mainstream opinion yet, but I think you could make a good argument that he's the best golfer in the world. DJ over the last 6 months has made that very difficult, but it would not surprise me at all if we're 5 years from now and we're talking about Xander as like clearly the best player.
I heard on the broadcast Bones has him penciled in for 3 majors over his career. I like
and that. That's something that I had heard 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago, that like amongst the guys on tour, amongst his peers, there's a ton of respect for his game and everything. And it's like, we always see him come up at big events. And I think that's part of the reality of it, is that like the people who are the best golfers in the world know that he's one of the people who's part of the club, and potentially the best of them. So,
So if he went out and got a win, it'd be his first since the 2019 Century Tournament of Champions, which seems like it was just
except I'm going to put a little asterisk on that one.
Okay, fine. Tour Championship, best, the low 72 score.
Besides the fact that week that he went and played the best golf of anyone, but he didn't get the win because it didn't account for the strokes coming in for the first time ever in the history of golf.
I should have known you're going to put that asterisk in there. Scottie Scheffler going completely unnoticed at 15 under, pursuing his first PGA Tour win. I think he has 2 Korn Ferry titles, so that would be a huge kind of momentous step for him coming off. He was Rookie of the Year last year, right?
And a big task, but with how volatile scoring is on this course, I think you go out there, you get you have a good front 9, you're right in this at the turn.
Yeah. Finally, Louis Oosthuizen. And there's tons of storylines, but we got to talk about Oosty. Your pick, Craig, yesterday, great pick. I think that unless we had Jordan, that's the pick of the day.
So, man, I had a ticket today that I have just crushed. Like, if it wasn't until Jordan Spieth went crazy, I had I was like, worst case scenario, this is going to be a top 10 play. It had Oosthuizen, it had Zalatoris, it had Henley. Henley did fall off a bit.
I know.
But he was on fire through his front 9. And then Siwoo Kim also fell off a bit. But man, for a while I was like, I'm already trying to decide when I'm going to spend this money on.
No kidding. But remarkably, I think he has 14 worldwide wins. 0 in the U.S. He's been second at the PGA Championship, second at the Masters, second at the U.S. Open, and second at the Players. He is such a player.
And I think he was in a playoff, right? Masters playoff. So I think he was in the Bubba playoff.
Oh man, I don't know. Now I'm all confused.
Regardless, I think one of the things about that though is that for a long time he was only coming over for the biggest tournaments with the strongest field.
For sure.
And I think we're going to, as we see more of him, we'll see him get some wins, because the Waste Management field, it is a strong field this year, but it's not like the Masters or the U.S. Open or the PGA.
Totally. Okay, let's hop over to the leaderboard here. We've talked about a bunch of these guys. Anyway, I mean, KH Lee's the other one up in the top.
I don't remember
5.
who brought him up a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of days ago.
On Thursday night, yeah.
Yeah, but if you've been playing him in Showdown, then you're probably doing pretty well.
Brooks is up there. He finished, I think, 4 birdies in a row. That kind of saved a couple of my showdowns in my showdown play yesterday. Keegan fell off. Brendan Todd's kind of a sneaky 11 under. I think he chipped in on 17. Rom, 10 under, might be kind of a sneaky play, but stacked. I mean, 18. These guys are at 18. You got to expect that. Okay, let's talk about it. What's the number? What's the number you got to have in your head going out there?
Minimum, I mean, you got to think you're getting to 21, 22 minimum.
Yeah. I think you got to have at least 21 in your mind. So maybe not Spieth and Xander, but I think that's what Scotty, Louis, KH Lee all have to think. I need to get to 21 to give myself a chance here.
Yeah, just real quick, Kyle, I'm glad that I'm hoping that cashed because I was following along after both of Adam and I gave an opinion on that. Riley Davis, I think he ended up falling back to even. It looked like he was doing well for a while, and ended up hopefully that ended up cashing for you. I think that these guys who, aside from Spieth and Xander, these guys have to go there and do something special. I'd say JT obviously is one that stands out. Scotty Scheffler, Louis, these guys at 13, I have a hard time seeing them win it unless they if they go out there and do some bonkers.
They go 10
that doesn't
necessarily.
But from a showdown point of view, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to play someone up there, because we talked about in the past, the ownership gets so heavy, you don't need necessarily that winning the points for getting the win to be able
especially
to win.
Especially when the scoring average is over 2 strokes under par. That means guys are going out and getting 7, 8 under. That difference between 4 under and a win and 6, 7 under is enough to make up all those bonus points.
And that's a really good point, because when we're, say, scoring is going to be, the tournament's going to be won at 5 under par. Like people might be 2 or 3 under, and that's a really good round. And so those bonus points start to make such a big difference. But the lower the scoring goes, the less relevant those become.
Hey, thanks, Barry. That Henley one felt like I was counting my cash early, but I wish it came through without the bogeys. But let's jump into the scoring. We were talking about the scoring. Better every day, 2.15 in round 3. Our picks, pretty good. Ron bailed us out. Brooks did well at the end, negative 4.5. Really like that. Hopefully you guys got some good tickets in there. Mixing up.
Siwoo was a bit of a disappointment.
Siwoo and Jones both didn't get much going. Siwoo got that birdie streak, which is always nice.
But Siwoo, the one, it hurt because he gave me hope. Like, he was at 4 under, I think, at one point, and then just bogeyed his way back to, I think, ended up 1 under on the day.
Early it was Henley, Oosthuizen. I mean, Zalatoris is a great addition. And Siwoo were like, this is awesome. Like, this is a perfect lineup we're looking at.
Anyways, so for tomorrow, we've got the bonus finishing points we talked about. Weather, good weather, nothing really to talk about there. Same thing we've seen all week. Not a whole lot of wind. Desert golf, cooler in the morning. I'm not favoring anyone.
No, not at all. Okay, let's jump into our picks here. We went a little bit long. Thank you for hanging with us. Please hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. It really does mean a lot. Jumping into our picks, Craig. I'm going Xander Schauffele, 10,800. Very last point there. He was my first pick in our pick show, first thing in the week. I'm riding through X. I'm going with him all the way to the finish. I think Craig,
for a second I was like, no, he was my pick, but I was like, oh yeah, I wanted to pick him, but you had already picked him. Yeah, right. Okay.
You talked about him on the Wednesday night show. I think you said you have 50-60% ownership or something. So we both love Xander. We think he can close it out. He's gone 66, 64, 65. That 65 seems completely overshadowed by Spieth.
I think the average there is a 65. I mean, I'm no expert, but
18 under, 1 eagle, 19 birdies, 3 bogeys. His ranks through 3 rounds: 4th in strokes gained tee to green, 6.71, about 2 around, 4 strokes gained putting, about 2 around as well, 6.63. I love him. I think he's super steady. I think he'll limit the mistakes. I love that he's going off with Spieth and kind of can match him toe to toe. I don't know if I'm not
saying
he's going to have
just breaking up. You were just breaking up a little bit there. You love that he's going off with Spieth.
With Spieth, he can kind of go toe-to-toe with him. He can see what Spieth is doing. I don't think Xander's going to have the lowest score tomorrow, but I think he's going to do what he needs to do to get the win.
Yeah, I think of any of the chalky plays, I think he's the one that I like the most because I do think he has the best chance of getting the finishing points. I think he's got the best chance of, delivering something between the 64 and 66 range. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's. I think everyone, if they don't realize by this point that Xander's a stud, then yeah. I don't know what you're watching, but it's different golf than me. Okay, my first one here. I'm going with my top contrarian. So I think this is sort of the first. I think, JT is going to have a lot of play. Rahm a little bit less so, but I think he still, he ended up with a decent finish as the round went on. He wasn't playing well through it, but then ended up with a good finish. I think Rory is going to have the least play of anyone up there. So that's why I want to have a piece of him. He's 9,800. He's gone 70, 67, 70. 13 birdies, 5 bogeys, 1 double. We've been lucky that he's been the feature group because we've had a chance to watch him. It just looks like, you look at his strokes gained. He's gained 4 strokes ball striking. He's losing about 3 with his short game. If you have been watching him, it seems like he's got like a 10 to, maybe even short of 8 to 15 foot putt for birdie half the time, and they're just burning edges. So yeah, I mean, it's an ownership play. I think if you do want to look at Spieth, I think he is, and you're looking for where do you spend up. Like, I think you really need to avoid the Spieth, Xander, Spieth. Like, unless you're going to get, you look at either Xander, JT, or Rahm to pair with Spieth, then you need to get really contrarian with your other plays. But if you go Spieth, Rory, then you still need to look for some other. I think anyone who's playing Spieth, you have to look for contrarian plays. But I think he's the one guy that I would want to pair with him the most, But then, it's an ownership play. But coming into this week, so this isn't counting rounds this week, he's been over 3 strokes gained on the field in 9 of his last 14 rounds. So, I'm not talking about like he's positive strokes gained or even like gaining over a stroke. I'm talking about over 3.
That's
in
crazy.
4 of those rounds, he's over 5. So like, it's not that like, oh yeah, he has the potential to go out there and shoot a 67 or 65 or 6. Like, he has the potential to go out there and shoot a 62 or
for sure.
Really, 100%. Whatever you think is the maximum round available out there, Rory's has the potential to go out there and shoot it.
I completely agree. We talk in our podcast all the time about these guys who come on Sunday, they backdoor into their top 10 or top 5. It's always these top players in the world, because we talk about if you increase the sample size, they're always going to rise to the top. So that, of course, you get the Rorys, the Rahms, they're going to backdoor into these top 5, top 10s. And I love that for Rory. We know this course fit. We've heard on the broadcast all week that his team has told him this is the best course fit for you. I think, this is a great play for really limited. I love it. I really like it. I also really do like JT though.
I agree. And I think it's really just a matter of pairing. And like, if you're going to play, you just have to make sure you don't get too much chalk, because then you essentially, you've totally limited your upside in GPP. So, like, I really like JT.
Okay, here's my next play. James Hahn, 7,700 on DraftKings. So as we were kind of getting to the back 9 here, I went over to DraftKings. Where's Spieth price? Where is he? He's 76. Okay. A lot of people are going to gravitate there. They're going to plug him in. Who's around there that I can be a little bit contrarian? I talked about Hahn, I think, on Thursday or Friday's show as a showdown play. I love him as a pivot off Spieth. So he's gone 67, 67, 66. He's 13 under, 14 birdies, 1 bogey. He hasn't bogeyed in over 40 holes. Clean scorecard yesterday. Clean scorecard on Saturday. On Friday, he hasn't bogeyed for 40 holes. How he's doing that? 11 strokes gained tee to green plus 5. And here's where he can get better. 114th in driving accuracy. He's 47%. I talked about it on the other show. He's 7th on tour in driving accuracy at 72%. So it makes sense. Like, I feel like I'm chopping up again.
You were chopping there, but yeah. So his driving accuracy. You said he's 7th, or he's very high normally. He makes 70%.
7th on the tour, 72% normally. So this 47 is completely out of nowhere. I think if he can correct that, he can be a great Sunday play.
Yeah, I mean, I've got pretty good ownership on him week long, so I love the fact that he has played as he has. I love it. I think the one, ownership, yes, he is. So he's the pivot off Spieth. I think you do.
I still think he'll be 15, 20, 25% owned. He's playing really well. He's at 13 under. He's right
typically, you don't expect to see guys at 7,700 in like that 25 to 20% range, but I think he will his ownership will be higher. But I think if there's someone who potentially is value around there, I think he's one to definitely look at.
But if you have 5 players and he's the last one in at 77, most people, if they're building, it will be Spieth. Yeah, a lot of people might have him and Spieth, but to go him and not Spieth is kind of.
And I think
that's where you go a little bit.
Barry in the chat there has a good point. I think Henley's round today, even though it fell back a bit, I think he was 8 at some point and then ended up at 6, or I don't remember exactly what the numbers were, but right. It got a lot of publicity, and so I think there'll be a lot of people that plug in Henley, even though he's I want to say he's at 10. I'm not positive on that, but. I think it's not just Spieth. I think there will be a lot of people that look at Henley, and so I think that is a good point, that it's a good pivot off him as well.
Yeah.
My next one here, I would talk about this guy probably every show if you'd let me. Will Zalatoris, I just don't understand this price. 8,900. What does this guy got to do? 71, 66, 64, minus 12. I do worry about ownership a bit. I think it's going to be high. He's made 15 birdies, 3 bogeys. You look at typically, it's actually funny. You look at his strokes gained on the week, and typically he's really a guy that gets a lot off the tee. So it is a bit unusual that he has not gained as much. I think that's part of that is because I don't actually know if he's put any in the drink, which can quickly, we talked about that with Rom, how his off the tee stats were not necessarily super reflective of how well he was driving the ball, because you put one in the water and it, it's a huge hit on your off the tee stats. But he's a stud off the tee. He's a stud on approach. He is overachieving for sure. And just, these are aggregates, so these are numbers that for all 3 of the rounds, cumulative numbers. So that is a lot for him to be gaining putting. But to me, it's just, this is not something new. Like, we need to get used to the fact that this guy belongs up high on leaderboards. You look at his form, this is including these tournament rounds. His recent form is just crazy hot. 8 of the last 10 rounds, he's gained over a stroke. 4 of his last 6, he's gained over 3 strokes on the field. So, I do think, again, it's going to be a chalkier play, but I think that, to me, there's still the potential upside to it. So I would say it's one that I'm gonna play with my other, maybe a little bit chalky, but not super chalky plays.
Yeah. No, I really like Zalatoris. I've been playing him all along. His 66, 64 have been great for me in Showdown. This is, like we've been talking about, it's the green and regulation. It's the strokes gained approach course. That's why I picked Henley yesterday. Like I said, Zalatoris, I think, was 3rd in our model coming in because of those approach stats. So he's more likely to do well than not. And at 8,900, just above average, it's a great price.
Yeah, I said it at the start of the week. I'm still going to the moon. I'm holding on Zalatoris.
Okay, so I went and got the obvious play in Xander. Hahn might be a little bit chalky. I decided I need to go low. I need to give kind of a contrarian play for my 3rd pick. I'm going Aaron Wise at 6,600. He's had a roller coaster of a tournament. He went 74, 65, 73. He's sitting at 5 under, 11 birdies, 4 bogeys, 3 doubles. Not great. A little bit all over his place. His ranks through 3 rounds. He's 8th. He's actually 8th in strokes gained tee to green, plus 5.8. 66 in strokes gained putting, minus 9.45. Just completely horrible putting round. He's not a great putter, but that is off the charts bad. 3 per round. He's losing strokes in putting. So why Aaron Wise? On the year, he ranks 15th on the tour in greens and regulation at just under 74%. I think he's a GPP flyer. If I'm building 3 lineups, I'll probably have him in 1. I think he's a great flyer if you want to throw Spieth in. If you want to get these other guys, he's going to have minimal ownership. One thing I don't like, though, he's in the last group going off 10. So he is on the last group of the day. It's waste management. There's going to be a lot of commotion around there. It's going to be weird being the last group off on 10, maybe worse greens, but his talent level for how low he can go, he can make the complete difference in a GPP. So he's completely risky, absolutely risky, but he's a GPP flyer for me.
And this is exactly the type of guy we're talking about when we say that you need to find non-chalky plays to pair with chalky plays. I was just trying to find it here. Someone had tweeted, I'm pretty sure it was him, and I can't remember the hole, but it's par 5, and he hit it in 2 on Thursday and Friday, and then made doubles both times. I'm pretty sure it was him. I'll see if I can dig it up, and I'll get you to throw a retweet on it from our account. But
it's been all over the place. I was looking through his scorecards as I was kind of creating this slide here, and it's a chance. You got to take a chance.
Yeah.
If you want to kind of be at the top of a GPP, you got to take a chance, and that's the kind of opportunity I saw for Sunday.
You need to look for those guys that are going to be under 10% owned that have potential to go out there and shoot 600 like he did on Thursday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, my last one here. This is a guy that maybe this is just because I have him in some of my best, my key tournament longs, but I think he is someone that has potential to increase his position. One of the things we talk about, so JT Poston, he's 7,300. One of the things we talk about is, if you're going to look at finishing position, maybe you look at guys who could move up that aren't necessarily in the top 10.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think
how do you go from 27th to 10?
Yeah.
Or something like that, right?
Or even, within, like, say they're around 10th and they could move up to 5th or something like that. I think he is one of those guys. So he's gone 68, 66, 67. The thing that just blew me away once I started to look at these numbers, he's got 2 eagles and 17 birdies. Like,
that's point.
He should be doing better than he is in this tournament with those numbers. He's got 9 bogeys. So those are a lot of points, and that makes more sense as to why he's doing well in my tournament longs. Overachieving for his 12 under. He's got at least 5 birdies each day. That's not even mentioning his 2 eagles he has on the tournament. So to me, he's one of these guys that I think has streaky upside. Obviously, he's done a lot with the putter so far this tournament, but that's not out of the ordinary for him. He is a really good putter, and I think, so often we talk about the ball strikers as like, they're such good ball strikers. Aaron Wise is a good example. Such good ball strikers. If they have like a normal day putting, they'll put up really good rounds. Sometimes you get these guys like Poston or Brendan Todd or like Patton Kizzire. Actually, Patton Kizzire was another guy I was looking at for this pick, but they just go on they have these rounds where their ball striking is good enough. They don't have the ball striking out there every week, because if they did, and you combine that with their putting, they'd be stars. But but they get there a day where their ball striking is good enough and they're draining everything and they can just go crazy low. So you combine approach and putting; those were the 2 most important stats we were talking about coming into this week.
Yeah.
Putting, he's gained 5 strokes. Approach, he's gained 3 strokes. Yes, he's lost off the tee. If he continues to average 67, 4 under, I'm okay with that. It cleans up a few of those bogeys. I just think there's huge upside to it. Where his ownership will be, I don't know. I like him a lot.
Yeah, I like it. I like the play. I like the price. I like the DraftKings scoring with the 5 birdies each day. So Yeah,
it gives you a lot of chances at those streaks.
Gives you a lot of chances at those streaks. Those are just points. Those are bonus points for you.
Another one, I don't know if you were aware of this, but I was very aware of this. Sung J M had like a 5.5 footer for a birdie streak on I want to say it's 15 maybe, whatever the par 5 is around there, and he missed it. It ended up making par, and I was just like, man, you gotta be kidding me.
So Craig, we got a question in the chat here. What about K each Lee from Steven?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, so I think one of the things you have to be careful of, anyone who is low priced and high on the leaderboard, those would be some of your chalkiest plays, especially on Sundays. So I like the play, but make sure you don't take him with only other chalky plays.
Completely agree with you, and I would emphasize, especially on Sundays, people just look at those finishing positions. They look at the number. Low price,
and he is what I'll jump back here. He is in 4th right now. Is that right? He's in 3rd.
Yeah.
So yeah, like there's.
He's been playing well though. He has been playing well. He's been playing great.
And I mean, it's just you can't combine him and Spieth and Xander and Rahm, and like you can't make the super obvious plays with him. But yeah, I like the play. I don't know for sure whether I will play him myself, just because I haven't made my lineups yet, but. I like to play.
Okay, well, we went long on the front end there, so let's maybe wrap it up there. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, for the questions, for the chat. It's been a good week. We got a great week, or a great Sunday of golf left, plus Super Bowl, if that's your thing. So it's going to be a great Sunday. Let's take home a GPP. I mentioned it yesterday.
I thought it was happening for me today, but Jordan Spieth had to crush my dreams.
Yeah, I know.
It's going to be great golf. Whether for DFS purposes or just as a golf fan, it's going to be good. So I have to say, I don't know if I'm on team. I mean, the Spieth win would do a lot of good things. I have to say, I still might be pulling for Xander. Spieth might have to go earn it out there.
No, I'm Xander. Xander, let's go 23 under. That's my
Xander call. 23 under. Okay. Oh, I got to make a call? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I think I agree. I think it's
fruit. Yeah.
I'll do something silly, just because this is like our picks at the start of the week. You already took Xander. I'll take JT goes out and shoots a 62 and gets to 23 under and wins it. I wonder what the odds would be on that one right now. I'll go check. All right, take care. Take care, guys. Call. We'll catch you next time. Enjoy the round.
See you and good luck. Yeah, see you guys.